Sergeant Sarah Connor squinted against the harsh afternoon sun as she surveyed the perimeter of Fort Bragg. Her hand rested instinctively on Rex's muscular shoulder, feeling the German shepherd's steady breathing beneath her palm. It was supposed to be a routine patrol, but Sarah's instincts told her something was off. "You feel it too, boy?" she murmured, noting Rex's slightly raised hackles. The enhanced war dog's ears twitched, his genetically modified senses picking up on something beyond human perception. Suddenly, the sky erupted in a cacophony of screeching metal and blinding light. Sarah's radio crackled to life with panicked voices as massive, otherworldly spacecraft materialized in the atmosphere above. Her heart raced as she watched in disbelief, the alien vessels hovering ominously over major cities across the globe. "This is not a drill. All personnel report to battle stations immediately," boomed the base-wide announcement system. Sarah sprinted towards the command center, Rex matching her pace effortlessly. Inside, chaos reigned. Monitors flickered with images of destruction as the alien forces unleashed their initial assault. New York, London, Beijing, all under simultaneous attack. Sarah watched in horror as conventional military responses proved futile against the invaders' advanced technology. "Connor!" barked Colonel Hendricks, his face ashen. "We're deploying all available units. Your Canine team is our last line of defense. Get out there and buy us some time." Sarah nodded grimly, her training kicking in despite the surreal situation. She gathered her team, a mix of seasoned handlers and their enhanced canine partners, and headed for the armory. As they geared up, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were woefully unprepared for what awaited them. "Listen up." She addressed her unit, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. "We're facing an unknown enemy with superior tech. Trust your instincts, trust your dogs. They might see or sense things we can't. Watch each other's backs out there." The team moved out, joining the fray as alien ground forces began to materialize on the outskirts of the base. Sarah and Rex took point, advancing cautiously through the chaos of evacuating civilians and mobilizing troops. The first encounter with the alien foot soldiers left Sarah breathless. Humanoid in shape, but clearly not of this world, they moved with an eerie, fluid grace. Their armor seemed to shimmer, partially cloaking them from view. Standard-issue weapons barely scratched their defenses. "Fall back!" Sarah yelled as another volley of alien fire cut through their ranks. She dove behind an overturned Humvee, Rex pressed against her side. Her mind raced, trying to formulate a plan against an enemy that seemed unbeatable. Suddenly, Rex's head snapped up, a low growl rumbling in his chest. Sarah had learned to trust her partner's enhanced senses implicitly. "What is it, boy?" she whispered, scanning the area. Rex's nose twitched, and he lunged forward, teeth bared. Sarah watched in amazement as the dog seemed to latch onto thin air, only for an alien soldier to materialize, its cloaking technology disrupted by Rex's attack. "Holy shit," Sarah breathed, realizing the implications. She keyed her radio. "All units, be advised. The dogs can detect cloaked hostiles. I repeat, the enhanced canines can see through their camouflage." A glimmer of hope sparked in Sarah's chest as she watched Rex take down the alien soldier with brutal efficiency. For the first time since the invasion began, they had an advantage. "Good boy, Rex," Sarah praised, her mind already formulating new tactics. She rallied her team, coordinating with other units to utilize the war dog's unique abilities. Slowly but surely, they began to push back against the alien advance. As the battle raged on, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the bond between the handlers and their canine partners. The genetic enhancements had elevated the dog's intelligence and physical capabilities, but it was the unwavering trust and communication between human and animal that truly made them formidable. Hours later, exhausted and battered, Sarah made her way to the command center to report. The initial alien assault had been repelled, but at a heavy cost. As she debriefed Colonel Hendricks on Rex's discovery, she could see the wheels turning in the officer's mind. "This could change everything, Connor," Hendricks said, a glimmer of hope in his tired eyes. "I'm ordering full deployment of all Canine units effective immediately. We need to get this intel to every battlefield across the globe." Sarah nodded, the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. As she turned to leave, Hendricks called out, "And Sergeant, good work out there. You and Rex? You might have just given us a fighting chance." Exiting the command center, Sarah knelt beside Rex, burying her face in his fur for a moment. The adrenaline was wearing off, leaving her with the stark reality of their situation. Earth was under attack by a technologically superior force, and humanity's best hope lay in the unbreakable bond between soldiers and their four-legged companions. "What do you say, partner?" Sarah murmured, scratching behind Rex's ears. "Ready to save the world?" Rex's tail wagged once, his intelligent eyes fixed on Sarah with unwavering loyalty. Together, they walked back into the fray, prepared to face whatever challenges the alien invasion would bring. The war for Earth had only just begun, but with the enhanced war dogs at their side, humanity had found its most unexpected and powerful allies. Sergeant Sarah Connor stood at rigid attention before a panel of stern-faced military brass, her heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and frustration. The fluorescent lights of the makeshift command center cast harsh shadows across the faces of the assembled officers, their expressions a blend of skepticism and barely concealed desperation. "Let me get this straight, Sergeant." General Hawkins, a grizzled veteran with steel-gray hair, leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "You're telling us that your dog, Rex, can detect cloaked alien technology?" Sarah fought the urge to fidget under the intense scrutiny. "Yes, sir. Not just Rex, but potentially all of our enhanced Canine units. They possess abilities we haven't fully understood or utilized yet." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the room. Colonel Reeves, a wiry man with a perpetual scowl, scoffed openly. "With all due respect, Sergeant, we're facing an unprecedented alien invasion. We don't have time for far-fetched theories about superpowered puppies." Sarah clenched her jaw, fighting back a retort. She knew how it sounded, but she also knew what she had witnessed on the battlefield. The memory of Rex saving her life by detecting a cloaked alien scout was still fresh in her mind. "Sirs, I understand your skepticism," Sarah said, her voice steady and determined. "But I'm not asking you to take my word for it. Allow me to demonstrate with a small-scale test. If I'm wrong, we've lost nothing. If I'm right, we may have just found a critical advantage against the invaders." General Hawkins exchanged glances with his fellow officers before letting out a heavy sigh. "Very well, Sergeant. You have one chance to prove your theory. Assemble a small team and conduct your test. But be warned, if this turns out to be a waste of our limited resources, there will be consequences." Sarah saluted crisply, relief and determination surging through her. "Thank you, sir. You won't regret this." Within hours, Sarah had assembled a select team of canine handlers and their enhanced dogs. As they prepared for their mission on the outskirts of a recently evacuated town, Sarah knelt beside Rex, running her hand through his thick fur. "This is it, boy," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "We've got to show them what you can do. The fate of humanity might just depend on it." Rex's intelligent eyes met hers, and he let out a soft whine of understanding. "Gee." Sarah marveled, not for the first time, at the depth of connection she felt with her canine partner. The team moved out under the cover of darkness, their enhanced dogs leading the way. Sarah's heart raced as they approached the coordinates of a suspected alien outpost. If their intelligence was correct, it should be heavily cloaked and virtually undetectable to human senses and technology. As they neared the location, the dogs' behavior began to change. Their ears pricked forward, tails stiffening, as they focused intently on something the humans couldn't perceive. Rex let out a low growl, his eyes fixed on a seemingly empty patch of scrubland. Sarah held up a closed fist, signaling the team to halt. She tapped her communication device, speaking in a hushed tone. "Control, this is Sergeant Connor. The Canine units are indicating the presence of cloaked alien technology at our current position, requesting permission to investigate further." There was a tense moment of silence before the response crackled through. "Permission granted, Sergeant. Proceed with extreme caution." With hand signals, Sarah directed her team to spread out, each handler following their dog's lead. As they closed in on the area Rex had identified, the air seemed to shimmer and distort. Suddenly, with a flash of energy, the cloaking field collapsed, revealing a sprawling alien structure that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Holy shit!" one of the handlers gasped, voicing the shock they all felt. Before they could fully process the revelation, alarms began to blare from within the structure. Alien creatures, their forms unlike anything Sarah had ever seen, poured out of hidden entrances. "Defensive positions," Sarah shouted, her training kicking in. "Protect the dogs at all costs." What followed was a chaotic firefight, human weapons clashing against advanced alien technology. But it was the enhanced dogs that turned the tide. With their heightened senses and agility, they were able to anticipate and counter the aliens' movements, guiding their human partners with barks and gestures. Rex was a blur of motion, darting between alien attackers and incapacitating them with precision strikes. Sarah found herself moving in perfect synchronization with her canine partner, their bond allowing them to communicate without words in the heat of battle. As the last alien fell, Sarah surveyed the scene, her chest heaving with exertion. The hidden outpost had been neutralized, and invaluable intel about the invaders' cloaking technology had been secured. Back at the command center, the mood had shifted dramatically. General Hawkins pored over the mission reports, his earlier skepticism replaced by a glimmer of hope. "Sergeant Connor," he said, looking up at Sarah with newfound respect, "it seems we owe you and your four-legged friends an apology, and our gratitude." Sarah stood tall, Rex at her side. "Thank you, sir. But this is just the beginning. With your permission, I'd like to begin full deployment of Canine units across all battle lines." General Hawkins nodded, a hint of a smile tugging at his lips. "Permission granted, Sergeant. It's time we show these aliens that humanity's best friend might just be their worst nightmare." As Sarah left the command center to begin preparations for the widespread deployment of war dogs, she couldn't help but feel a surge of pride and determination. The tide of the war was about to turn, and it would be on four paws. The sun rose over a changed world, its rays illuminating the scarred landscape of what was once a thriving metropolis. Sergeant Sarah Connor stood atop a crumbling skyscraper, her keen eyes scanning the horizon. Beside her, Rex's ears twitched, alert to every sound. In the weeks since the invasion began, the human-dog teams had become Earth's most effective line of defense against the alien threat. "Another day, another fight, eh boy?" Sarah murmured, scratching Rex behind the ears. The German shepherd leaned into her touch, his intelligent eyes fixed on her face. Their bond had only grown stronger through the crucible of war. Sarah's comm unit crackled to life. "Sergeant Connor, report to command immediately. We've got a new operation." "Copy that," she replied, giving Rex a quick hand signal. Together, they made their way down to the makeshift command center in the building's reinforced basement. The room buzzed with activity as military personnel pored over holographic maps and data streams. Colonel Bradshaw, a grizzled veteran who had initially been skeptical of the War Dog program, nodded curtly as Sarah entered. "Connor, your team's success has not gone unnoticed," Bradshaw began, his tone grudgingly respectful. "We've been able to push back the alien forces in key locations around the globe, thanks in large part to the enhanced capabilities of your canine units." A series of successful operations flashed across the main screen. A covert infiltration of an alien communications hub in the Amazon, the destruction of a cloaked weapons factory in the Sahara, and the rescue of hundreds of civilians from a processing center in Shanghai. In each image, human soldiers worked in perfect synchronization with their canine partners. "However," Bradshaw continued, his expression grim, "the aliens are adapting. They're developing new technologies to counter our advantage." The colonel pulled up footage of a recent skirmish. Sarah watched in horror as several war dogs collapsed, writhing in apparent agony, while their handlers frantically tried to protect them. "Some kind of sonic weapon?" Sarah asked, her fists clenching at her sides. Rex whined softly, sensing her distress. Bradshaw nodded. "We believe so, which is why your next mission is critical. We've located what appears to be the aliens' primary research and development facility. Your team will infiltrate and gather intel on their latest weapons tech, H. As Sarah absorbed the details of the mission, alarms suddenly blared throughout the complex. Rex's hackles rose, a low growl rumbling in his chest. "We're under attack," a voice shouted over the comm system. "Multiple bogies inbound." Bradshaw's face hardened. "Looks like the enemy decided to bring the fight to us. Connor, get your team topside and repel those bastards." Sarah and Rex raced through the building, gathering their squad along the way. As they emerged onto the debris-strewn street, the sky darkened with the silhouettes of alien assault craft. All right, people, you know the drill, Sarah barked, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them. Handlers, keep your dogs close. Watch for cloaked units and prioritize taking down their tech. The battle that ensued was fierce and chaotic. Human-dog teams moved in perfect unison, the enhanced canines sniffing out hidden enemies and alerting their partners to incoming fire. Sarah and Rex led the charge, their movements so synchronized they seemed to operate as a single entity. But something was different about this assault. The aliens fought with a newfound desperation, employing tactics they hadn't seen before. As Sarah ducked behind an overturned vehicle, narrowly avoiding a blast of energy, she realized with a chill that this wasn't just another skirmish. This was a coordinated strike aimed at eliminating the war dog units. "Fall back!" Sarah shouted, noticing too late the strange devices the aliens were deploying. "They're targeting the dogs." A high-pitched whine filled the air, inaudible to human ears, but sending the enhanced canines into a frenzy. Several dogs collapsed, their handlers desperately trying to drag them to safety. Rex stumbled, shaking his head as if to clear it. Sarah's heart clenched as she saw the pain in her partner's eyes. "Come on, boy," she urged, supporting his weight as they retreated. "We've got to get you out of here." But the aliens pressed their advantage, cutting off escape routes and picking off the disoriented dog teams one by one. Sarah watched in horror as her comrades fell, the bond between handler and canine exploited as a weakness. In a moment of clarity, Sarah realized what she had to do. "Rex," she said, locking eyes with her faithful companion, "complete the mission. Go!" With a whine of protest, Rex hesitated, unwilling to leave his partner behind. But years of training and trust won out. The German Shepherd bounded away, using his enhanced abilities to slip past the alien forces and disappear into the ruins of the city. Sarah turned to face the oncoming horde, her jaw set in grim determination. She would buy Rex the time he needed to escape, to carry on the fight. As the aliens closed in, Sarah thought of all the battles they had won, all the lives they had saved. "Come on, you bastards," she growled, raising her weapon. "Let's see what you've got." The chapter ended with Sarah standing alone against the alien onslaught, her fate uncertain but her resolve unshaken. Somewhere in the war-torn city, Rex raced on, carrying with him the hopes of humanity and the unbreakable bond between species that had become Earth's greatest weapon. Sarah Connor's eyes snapped open, her body aching from the brutal battle she'd endured. The sterile, metallic surroundings confirmed her worst fears. She was in alien captivity. As her vision cleared, she noticed other human prisoners nearby, including several of her fellow canine handlers. Their defeat had been swift and merciless. "Sergeant Connor?" a weak voice called out. Sarah turned to see Lieutenant Rodriguez, her second in command, nursing a nasty head wound. "What happened? Where are we?" "Alien detention facility, I'd wager," Sarah replied grimly, assessing their surroundings. "Any sign of the dogs?" Rodriguez shook his head. "Not here. But I overheard the guards. They're keeping them separate. Something about experiments." Sarah's heart clenched at the thought of Rex and the other enhanced canines being subjected to alien tests. She had to find a way out, to rescue them before it was too late. As if summoned by her thoughts, the cell door hissed open. 2 alien guards entered, their insectoid features impassive as they scanned the prisoners. One of them jabbed a long, spindly finger at Sarah. "You. Come," it chittered in broken English. Sarah exchanged a quick glance with Rodriguez before allowing herself to be led away. As they marched through winding corridors, she memorized every turn, every potential weakness in the facility's security. Her training kicked in, pushing aside fear and focusing on gathering intelligence. They arrived at a vast laboratory, filled with strange equipment and holographic displays. Sarah's breath caught in her throat as she saw rows of stasis pods, each containing an unconscious war dog. Her eyes frantically searched for Rex among them. "Fascinating creatures, these canines of yours," a voice purred from behind her. Sarah turned to face an alien unlike any she'd seen before. Tall and regal, with iridescent scales and penetrating eyes, it exuded an aura of authority. This had to be a high-ranking officer, perhaps even Admiral Zyx himself. "What have you done to them?" Sarah demanded, her fists clenching at her sides. The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "We're simply trying to understand the source of their power, how these primitive beasts could pose such a threat to our superior technology. As the alien spoke, Sarah's eyes darted around the room, cataloging potential weapons and escape routes. Her gaze landed on a familiar form in one of the stasis pods. Rex. X. Her loyal partner seemed unharmed, but the sight of him imprisoned filled her with a mixture of relief and rage. "You underestimate them," Sarah said, her voice low and dangerous. "Just like you underestimated us." Before the alien could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Chaos erupted as guards rushed past, their chittering communications filled with panic. "Impossible," the alien commander hissed, turning to a nearby console. "The detention level has been breached." Sarah's heart soared with hope. Someone was mounting a rescue mission, and she had a pretty good idea who it might be. Taking advantage of the confusion, Sarah sprang into action. She grabbed a nearby piece of alien tech, using it to smash the control panel of Rex's stasis pod. As the transparent barrier retracted, Rex's eyes snapped open, instantly alert and ready for battle. "Good boy," Sarah whispered, burying her face in his fur for a brief moment. "Let's get our people out of here." Together, Sarah and Rex fought their way through the facility, freeing other captive handlers and dogs as they went. The enhanced canines, once awakened, proved just as formidable as ever, their heightened senses allowing them to navigate the alien structure with ease. As they neared the detention level, they encountered the source of the alarm, a small, elite team of human soldiers led by none other than Colonel Bradshaw himself. "Couldn't let our best asset fall into enemy hands," Bradshaw gruffly explained as they rendezvoused. "These dogs of yours have become too valuable to lose." With the combined forces of the rescue team and the freed prisoners, they fought their way to the facility's hangar bay. Sarah's military training meshed seamlessly with Rex's enhanced abilities as they took down alien after alien, their bond stronger than ever. As they prepared to board a commandeered alien shuttle, Sarah hesitated. "Wait," she said, turning to Bradshaw. "The lab. We can't leave without the intel we gathered." Bradshaw's eyes narrowed. "Connor, we don't have time for a detour. We need to get these people to safety." "Sir, with all due respect, this might be our only chance to gain insight into their weapons technology. The sonic device they used against the dogs, we need to know how to counter it." After a moment's consideration, Bradshaw nodded. "You've got 10 minutes. Take your dog and get what you can. We'll hold the hangar." Sarah and Rex raced back through the alien corridors, retracing their steps to the laboratory. As they downloaded crucial data from the alien computers, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. The human-dog bond, once seen as a mere tactical advantage, had become the linchpin of Earth's resistance. With seconds to spare, they returned to the hangar, alien security forces hot on their heels. As the shuttle's doors closed behind them and they blasted off into space, Sarah allowed herself a moment of relief. They had survived, rescued their comrades, and secured vital intelligence. But the war was far from over. As Earth grew larger in the shuttle's viewport, Sarah knew that the real battle was just beginning. The aliens would be desperate now, their secret weapons exposed. But humanity had its own secret weapon: the unbreakable bond between soldiers and their four-legged companions. Sarah looked down at Rex, who sat faithfully by her side, alert and ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. "What do you say, partner?" she murmured. "Ready to save the world?" Rex's tail wagged once, his intelligent eyes fixed on Sarah with unwavering loyalty. Together, they would face whatever the alien threat could throw at them. The war for Earth's future was far from over, but with the enhanced war dogs by their side, humanity had a fighting chance. The pre-dawn sky flickered with distant explosions as Sergeant Sarah Connor surveyed the battlefield from her vantage point atop a crumbling skyscraper. Rex, ever vigilant, stood beside her, his enhanced senses alert to any threat. The global coordinated offensive against the alien forces had begun, and humanity's fate hung in the balance. Sarah's comm unit crackled to life. "All units, this is command. Operation Thunderbolt is a go. I repeat, Operation Thunderbolt is a go." She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenge ahead. "Copy that, Command. Strike Team Alpha is ready to deploy." As Sarah and Rex made their way down to street level, they were joined by a diverse group of handlers and their enhanced canine partners. Each pair moved with practiced precision, a testament to the bond that had become Earth's greatest weapon against the alien invaders. "Listen up," Sarah addressed her team, her voice firm but tinged with emotion. "This is it. Everything we've fought for comes down to this moment. Our mission is to penetrate the alien command centers and disrupt their operations. Trust your instincts, trust your partners, and watch each other's backs." With a chorus of affirmative responses, both human and canine, the strike team moved out. They navigated through the war-torn cityscape, avoiding debris and the remnants of fallen alien craft. Rex led the way, his heightened senses guiding them past hidden dangers and towards their objective. As they neared the first alien command center, the sky erupted with energy weapons fire. Human aircraft engaged in dogfights with sleek alien fighters, providing cover for the ground assault. Sarah and her team used the chaos to their advantage, slipping past the aliens' outer defenses. "Rex, seek!" Sarah commanded, and the German shepherd's nose twitched as he searched for the telltale scent of alien technology. Within moments, he had located a concealed entrance to the command center. The team breached the facility with practiced efficiency, human and canine working in perfect synchronization. As they fought their way through the alien structure, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. The enhanced dogs, once viewed with skepticism, had become the linchpin of humanity's resistance. Suddenly, a high-pitched whine filled the air. Several of the dogs stumbled, shaking their heads in disorientation. "It's the sonic weapon," one of the handlers shouted, his voice laced with panic. "See," Sarah's heart raced as she watched Rex struggle against the debilitating sound. But something was different this time. The German shepherd's eyes met hers, filled with determination, and he pushed through the pain, staying on his feet. "They've adapted," Sarah realized with a mixture of pride and relief. The intelligence they'd gathered from the alien research facility had allowed them to modify the dog's enhancements, granting them increased resistance to the sonic attacks. With renewed vigor, the strike team pressed on, disabling alien defenses and gathering crucial intelligence. As they reached the heart of the command center, they encountered fiercer resistance. Energy beams crisscrossed the air, and alien soldiers swarmed from every direction. In the midst of the chaotic battle, Sarah noticed Rex's behavior change. The German shepherd's attention was fixed on a specific section of wall, his posture indicating he'd detected something important. "Cover me," Sarah shouted to her team as she followed Rex's lead. Together, they discovered a hidden chamber, filled with holographic displays and pulsing with energy. "Command, this is Connor," Sarah reported, her voice urgent. "We've located what appears to be the alien's primary control node, requesting instructions." After a moment of tense silence, the response came through. "Sergeant Connor, your new objective is to disable that node at all costs. It could be the key to shutting down their entire command structure." As Sarah and her team worked to decipher the alien technology, the battle raged around them. Handlers and their canine partners fought with everything they had, their bond stronger than any weapon the aliens could deploy. Just as they were making progress, a massive explosion rocked the facility. Through a gaping hole in the wall, Sarah saw a towering figure emerge, Admiral Zyx himself, encased in a formidable battle suit. "Your resistance ends here, humans," the alien commander's voice boomed, distorted by the suit's speakers. "Your primitive pets are no match for our superior technology." Sarah exchanged a glance with Rex, a silent understanding passing between them. Without a word, they sprang into action, Sarah providing covering fire, while Rex darted between the suit's legs, searching for weaknesses. The battle that ensued was unlike anything Sarah had experienced before. Human and dog moved as one, anticipating each other's moves and covering each other's vulnerabilities. The other teams joined the fray, each handler-canine pair contributing their unique skills to the fight. As the battle reached its climax, Sarah noticed Rex had maneuvered Zyx's suit towards the control node. In a flash of intuition, she understood her partner's plan. "Everyone, fall back!" Sarah shouted, grabbing a fallen alien weapon. With pinpoint accuracy, she fired at the node just as Rex leapt, knocking Zyx off balance. The resulting explosion sent shockwaves through the facility. Zyx's suit short-circuited, leaving the alien commander vulnerable. As the dust settled, Sarah approached, Rex at her side, both battered but unbowed. "It's over, Admiral," Sarah said, her voice firm. Your invasion has failed. As Zix was taken into custody and the alien command structure crumbled, Sarah knelt beside Rex, burying her face in his fur. We did it, boy, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. We really did it. The final push had succeeded, turning the tide of the war. As reports of alien retreats poured in from around the globe, Sarah knew that the bond between humans and their canine partners had been the key to Earth's salvation. The future was uncertain, but whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Humanity and its most loyal companions united in the defense of their home. The early morning sun cast long shadows across the ruins of what was once a thriving metropolis as Sarah Connor and her team approached the massive alien command ship. Its looming presence served as a stark reminder of how close humanity had come to extinction. Rex padded silently beside her, his enhanced senses on high alert for any sign of danger. This is it, team, Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. Everything we've fought for comes down to this moment. The small group of elite handlers and their canine partners nodded solemnly. They had been handpicked for this final, desperate assault on the alien stronghold. As they moved into position, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. What had started as an experimental program had become Earth's greatest hope for survival. Using the intel gathered from their previous missions, the team located a weak point in the ship's defenses. Rex led the way, his nose twitching as he detected the faint scent of alien technology. With practiced precision, they breached the outer hull and slipped inside. The interior of the command ship was a maze of pulsing organic material interwoven with advanced technology. Sarah and Rex took point, their movements so synchronized they seemed to operate as a single entity. As they navigated deeper into the ship, the air grew thick with tension. Suddenly, Rex froze, a low growl rumbling in his chest. Sarah raised her fist, signaling the team to halt. Around the corner, they could hear the chittering speech of alien guards. All right, boy, Sarah whispered, locking eyes with her faithful companion. Show us what you can do. Rex sprang into action, using his enhanced speed and agility to catch the aliens off guard. The rest of the team followed suit, their canine partners working in perfect harmony with their human handlers. In a matter of moments, the guards were neutralized without raising the alarm. As they pushed deeper into the ship, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that this had been too easy. Her suspicions were confirmed when they entered a vast chamber filled with holographic displays and thrumming with energy. Welcome, humans, a familiar voice echoed through the room. Admiral Zex materialized before them, his form flickering as if not fully present. I must admit, your persistence is admirable, futile, but admirable. Sarah stepped forward, Rex at her side. It's over, Zex. Your invasion has failed. D. Earth is no longer defenseless against your kind. The alien commander's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Oh, but you've played right into our hands. Did you really think we wouldn't anticipate your final assault? With a gesture, Zix activated a series of devices around the room. A high-pitched whine filled the air, causing the enhanced dogs to whimper in pain. Sarah watched in horror as Rex and the other canines collapsed, their enhanced senses overwhelmed by the alien technology. You see, Zix continued, his voice dripping with condescension, we've been studying your secret weapon all along. These primitive beasts may have given you an advantage for a time, but they are still no match for our superior intellect. As Sarah knelt beside Rex, trying desperately to shield him from the debilitating sound, she noticed something strange. Despite the pain, her partner's eyes remained clear and focused. There was an intelligence there that went beyond mere animal instinct. In that moment, Sarah understood. The bond between humans and their canine companions wasn't just about enhanced physical abilities or heightened senses. It was something deeper, something the aliens in their arrogance had failed to comprehend. Rex, Sarah said softly, her voice barely audible above the alien devices. I know you can understand me. We've come too far to give up now. Remember your training, focus on my voice. To Zex's astonishment, Rex slowly rose to his feet. The other dogs followed suit, drawing strength from their handler's encouragement. The alien commander's confidence wavered for the first time. Impossible, Zix hissed. How can they resist? Sarah stood tall, her hand resting on Rex's head. You made a crucial mistake, Admiral. You assumed our bond was purely physical, something you could disrupt with technology. But it goes far deeper than that. It's built on trust, loyalty, and a connection that transcends species. As if to prove her point, Rex suddenly lunged forward, his enhanced intelligence allowing him to identify and destroy the sonic devices. The other dogs followed suit, working in perfect synchronization with their human partners to dismantle the alien defenses. Zex's holographic form flickered more violently as the ship's systems began to fail. No, this cannot be. In the chaos that followed, Sarah and her team fought their way to the ship's main control center. With Rex's help, they were able to decipher the alien technology and initiate a shutdown sequence that would disable not just this ship, but the entire invasion fleet. As alarms blared and the ship began to power down, Sarah turned to Zykes' fading hologram. "It's over, Admiral. Your arrogance was your downfall. You never understood that Earth's greatest strength lies not in technology, but in the bonds we forge with each other, human and animal alike." The team raced to escape the crumbling ship, handlers and dogs moving as one. As they emerged into the sunlight, they watched as alien craft fell from the sky, their systems disabled by the command ship's shutdown. In the days that followed as humanity began the long process of rebuilding, Sarah stood before a gathering of world leaders. Rex sat proudly at her side, a symbol of the unbreakable bond that had saved their planet. "Today, we celebrate not just the end of a war, but the dawn of a new era," Sarah announced, "one where we recognize that our greatest allies have been by our side all along. The enhanced war dogs may have given us an edge in battle, but it was the depth of our connection, a bond that has existed for thousands of years, that truly made the difference." As cheers erupted from the crowd, Sarah knelt beside Rex, scratching behind his ears. "What do you say, boy? Ready for our next adventure?" Rex's tail wagged once, his intelligent eyes fixed on Sarah with unwavering loyalty. Together, they turned to face the future, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, the unbreakable bond between humans and their canine companions would see them through.